Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life,
Hey everyone, good afternoon. It is 12:05 p.m. on what day is today? Wednesday. So I want to go through a couple of things with you first and then take your questions, whatever questions you may have. So comments. So yesterday I said to you that I would get back to you today regarding what our plans are to do this week, because we had a couple of things that we had in the hopper that we were all trying to coordinate. And between this week, between Friday being Juneteenth and the Knicks parade being tomorrow, there is not a damn thing going to get done this week. So we just decided we will update you one more time when we have something hard and concrete to update you with, and all of the different parties that we've been trying to coordinate with to get all of these informations to make all of these several announcements to you at the same day. It's just not working. And I don't want to give you another update just to let you down again, because that absolutely seems what the city is trying to do to us, is keep letting us down. And I don't want to continue to let you down. Apparently, we are not a priority in their focus, and that's going to need to change. So I will update you once again when there is something to update. And I think that's not going to happen this week. So enjoy the Knicks parade if that's what you're going to do, and then take off your 3-day weekend. Our Facebook page will be closed on Friday, and I will not be doing a Friday Live Friday night. This is going to kind of serve as that for you. If there's something breaking tomorrow, I will be sure to tell you, but being that there's the Knicks parade tomorrow, it is highly unlikely. Okay, so instead, what I want to do is I want to go over another issue that has been filling up my mailbox this morning. Is yesterday's retired teacher chapter meeting, where Michael Mulgrew yet once again showed up to the RTC meeting and spewed bullshit. And you know how New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees likes bullshit. We don't. And we will call it out every single day. So what I did was, instead of being here all afternoon, because I think that was a 2-hour meeting, I clipped you a 5-minute audio clip. And
Hi.
Whoops, hold on.
Epstein, RTC.
Okay, so what I want to do is first, Susan Epstein. Susan, if you are listening, I am sorry that you were treated so disrespectfully by this union leader, but I commend you for speaking out and speaking up in the defense of yourself and as well as your retired brothers and sisters. How you were handled yesterday was completely inappropriate, even all the way through the end of the 5-minute call, where they were basically telling you, sit down and shut up, and there's nothing for you to say, and that you're wrong, which you're not, but we'll get to that eventually. That's part of still trying to get this other announcement done. But what I want to do is I want to share with you his comments, and then we're just going to pick them apart. And I'm going to fact check him in real time as this is going on. And I will pause it and then go to this. So I'm going to play this for you right now.
Hi. Susan Epstein, RTC delegate, and I attended last week's delegate assembly.
Thank you.
And you've talked today about not being divisive, but when you were discussing our no co-pays resolution, you stated that in collective bargaining, if we got no co-pays retirees, then it would impact on the salaries of the in-service teachers. I found that outrageous. It's outrageous.
Did you just hear that? He just goes, like, yes, we are charging you copays, and if we stop them, it is going to impact active worker raises. He is this, holy cow. And I keep saying this, like, yes, there's some like knucklehead on Reddit who's commenting that we knew healthcare savings was in the UFT contract in 14. Well, many of you knew, many of you didn't. However, retirees did not know because retirees are not in the union. We do not vote on contracts. No retiree would have most likely known what was in that contract. And the UFT and DC 37, the two largest unions in the MLC with a controlling vote in the MLC, also don't have the ability to they have the ability together to control the vote on what happens. And we know that they intentionally funded their contracts by doing this. The Administrative Code 12-126 was implemented, legislated, passed as a law in the city council with the mayor because the mayor wanted to give retirees Medicare and he wanted the city to pay for it. What does this knucklehead do? He goes ahead for the first time in 60 years and charges retirees copays. And why did he do that? Because he wanted to create a cash flow, bring in money, because he agreed in his union negotiations to save the city money up to certain benchmarks. And by doing so, he wanted to be able to create funding that didn't come off his active workers' backs, but came off current retirees who were not in the union. Retirees are not in the union. This is why that is a problem. It's a problem for us because we're making 50% less than we did last time with 9% inflation. He now wants more of our pension dollars to fund an active worker raise. He doesn't even deny it. When Susan says it, he literally admits it. He goes, So I want you to hear this because this is a union leader saying, yep, I put those copays on you to finance my raises for my active workers. Yep, I did that.
Just because I don't have words. That's divisive, right?
I can't tell people.
And she's absolutely right. It is divisive. He chose to finance an active worker contract on the backs of current retirees, not on the process, not part of the process, not in the union, not at the table. Don't vote on contracts. He chose to do this. He did. And that's a problem. He started with the divisiveness of pitting active workers against retirees because now active workers are going to say, well, I got that raise. And if you're telling me it's because you charge those old people copays, then don't stop those copays because I want more money. Not thinking that this is like a total implosion of dignity, respect, honor of retired unionists. It's insane that this was allowed to even happen, that he did this and no one's holding him accountable.
That I can't tell people and hide from them things that may happen. The fact is that if the UFT told the city itself, if this is just a fact, the rest of the unions are still doing it. And if the UFT says we refuse to pay copays, they would then tell us in our collective bargaining process that we would have to make up that money.
And it is he in 2014 that initiated this whole process. Michael Mulgrew went to the MLC. And if you remember the 2014 UFT announcement with Mayor de Blasio, Michael Mulgrew was to the side going, yes, pending MLC approval. It's got to have MLC approval. That was because he decided to partially fund his contract on the backs of all the other unions agreeing to healthcare givebacks and charging more copays and forcing current retirees into Medicare Advantage. This didn't start with some other union. This started right here with him. And he owns that.
Period. That's a fact.
It is a fact.
That is not me making something up. That is me telling you the truth. And people need to know that because it's a very simple thing. What you forgot to say is, of course, does anyone like copays? Okay? This is not something anyone likes to do. So, of course, everyone's going to vote in a certain place. But remember when I said where we have to be smart and look at all the angles? You have to know the reality of the situation.
And the reality of the situation is this union president went and negotiated a contract partially funded on the backs of other unions and current retirees by imposing copays on them as a funding mechanism, forcing them into Medicare Advantage as a funding mechanism, reducing, suppressing the HIP rate, which is the benchmark that the city has to pay up to for everyone, employees, retirees, and their dependents. He implemented this. He was encouraged by labor relations to leverage all the unions in the MLC and current retirees no longer in unions, not at the table, don't do any collective bargaining because they're retired. He leveraged all of them. He did this. And that is the fact of the matter. He did this. This started in 2014 UFT contract. No one else owns this but him. And now he says that there has to be another way, or there have to be more facts, or there will be other issues, or where else would the money come from? If he's that great of a labor leader, he'll find another way so that he can preserve and protect the benefits for current retirees, and that retirees aren't taxed to hell every time they go to the doctor. That is his job. He did this. He should unravel this, because if he wants us to tell him how to fix this, I'm sure we can.
It's not like the UFT gets to say, we don't like this anymore, and therefore we're not doing it. And the city's going to say, okay, but you're still on the hook for the money. So you figure out how you're paying it. And it is not nonsense. It is absolutely the truth. And you have to, that's the reality of the situation. So again, when I say, Bennett already told me last question, so just show. When I say things to the delegate assembly, it's because I've been asked questions on clarification, and that's what I do. I'm not going to sit there and tell them something that is not important and hide it from them. It's a very important piece to know. There are other ways we can go about this. So when you do a resolution, and it's specifically going at the in-service people, I don't like when you do a resolution that looks like it can be something that can divide people.
And that's ironic to hear him say, because the very moment that he implemented the 2014 MLC agreement, he divided active workers and retirees. Active workers didn't know that they were getting something on the backs of retired workers. And so, of course, they supported it. He's denied it the entire time, but we've brought receipts the entire time to show you that the MLC, under the leadership of the two largest unions, starting with this guy, has implemented copays, tried to diminish healthcare, tried to change the law, called us names, tried to diminish who we were, called us rump retirees. They attacked us for the last 5 years. And it was only when retirees were able to help unseat the retired teacher chapter leadership, as well as the RTC retired teacher chapter, the retired teacher chapter leadership, as well as the paraprofessionals chapter. We helped them, supported them in their fight, and gave them a platform to be able to talk on, to share their message. So this started here, and that's when he walked back his support for Medicare Advantage. There was never that he disagreed with Medicare Advantage. There was never a time he disagreed with copays. And knowing that he was using copays, you heard Claire Levitt say that this was behavioral modification. You heard him in testimony before the council say that he imposed a $100 copay on a specific facility charge because he did not want you going to that facility. He's doing this. And then when he recognizes, because many retirees are on small fixed incomes, not able to withstand an inflation rate of 6, 8, 9% with everything else going on, he then decides he's going to steal more of your pension dollars by wagering a copay on you that affects every single service, and then tries to equate it. Well, the active workers have it. Well, active workers make twice our income, one, and in some cases, they make 4, 6 times our income. Like this guy makes almost $500,000 versus a current retiree who's making maybe $20,000 or $30,000 pension. So you cannot do apples to apples. The other issue is he's negotiating those copays on active workers as well. This is nothing new. This is something that he is doing to create a funding stream, a cash flow. So if I were an active worker, I would be even more pissed because he's literally funding my raise off of copays from active workers and retirees. You're paying for your own raise if you're an active worker. And you're getting part of your raise on the backs of elderly people being able to pay for a copay to go to the doctor. That's not how your raise should be funded. And if he really is a labor leader, then he would be funding his contracts the proper way. What he's doing is antithetical to the entire labor movement. And that's a problem. This will destroy labor as our movement picks up, and we are picking up. People are listening, showing us that what he is doing, that is not how unions are supposed to negotiate. You cannot partner with management. Management will always be your enemy. You need to be cautious to what they are telling you to do. He literally got in bed with fuzzy bunny slippers and snuggled up to Claire Levitt, Bob Lynn, Stan Brezhnev, Renee Campion, and said, yeah, sure, let's go shove those retirees into Medicare Advantage and let's go ding them with a copay and bring in another $40, $50, $60 million worth of cash in order to finance our raises. No one will know. Those old people will never know the difference. They're not in the union. They don't vote on contracts. They don't see all this shit. What are they going to know? That's what they're doing. So to hear Susan stand up and say, what are you going to do about this? We passed a we wanted to do this resolution that says that the UFT is going to push back on these copays. And now for the second time in a row, he's saying, I can't walk those copays back. Active workers will be upset because OLR will reduce what will be paid to them, what is paid to them. So he's okay with stealing your money, your pension dollars out of your wallet to finance active workers. Active workers should be angry because if they were paying attention to what is happening to a current retiree and they're setting a precedent that this is okay, well, Michael Mulgrew or the next union leader will just come along and do the same to them when they are retired. And that should never happen. You earned and worked your whole life to have the benefit and the security of healthcare and a pension, not to have some union leader that you're not in. I'm not in the UFT. And yet this guy thinks he could make decisions that allows my pension to go to fund his contract. That should never happen. I'm retired. I'm not in a union. I'm not at the table to be able to call him out, but I have this platform and I'm going to use it. I want you to listen to the rest of this.
Okay, so I know I asked someone afterwards, and they told the response was just tax the millionaires. Great, Brett, thank you. I appreciate that because we have passed how many resolutions on taxing millionaires, and guess what? We don't control that. So if we tax the millionaires first, purposely to not pay copays, that would be a nice campaign. See, that's the smart way. Okay? If you have anything, it's like when Bennett talks to me about 1096, I'm like, you have to protect collective bargaining.
And here's the deal on 1096. He keeps saying you have to protect collective bargaining. Well, we as retirees today have Medicare because, not collective bargaining, because of a law that was passed by the city council at the request of the mayor. When Medicare came about, the mayor said, hey, city council, pass me a bill. I want to be able to, actually the first time he said, I want to give retirees and employees Medicare. And so he tried to do it by personnel order. And I've showed you those personnel orders in 65, 66. And so it was found out that he could, by personnel order, give Medicare to employees. But the mayor, John Lindsay, could not give Medicare to current retirees. They weren't employees and they weren't in a union. So what he did was he said, we need to pass a law. And he went to Mario Marola, who then later became the district attorney, and Edmund Farrell, and said, could you do a bill to give these people Medicare that are current retirees? And the city wants to pay for it. And so they did. They passed a bill That's why you have healthcare. It's not in collective bargaining. Collective bargaining allows you to maneuver the healthcare plans, maybe implement more, take a few out, change the vendor, change the benefits. Like you can change what services you want to add, a more catastrophic plan. You want to add specific benefits within the construct of the health plan. But healthcare is a mandatory subject of bargaining for every single union that has a bargaining certificate. The MLC does not own a bargaining certificate. They are not a union. They are a committee. They are a coalition. And yet he's been misusing this coalition to say, we can do this. No, you can't do this. But they've been getting away with it because no one stopped them. So back to the copay issue, he's saying that, of course, he doesn't want to change this because then he'd have to come up with the cash somewhere else. It's not necessarily going to reduce wages, but I want to see if I can quickly find that video. Do you guys remember the video from, I think I froze. Did I freeze? Yep. Did you remember the video from the lawyer from the MLC where he said, the city said that if they had to pay more for those retirees, it would be less it would pay for us, the active workers. Well, that still rings true. I'm going to let you finish listening to this while I go find that other video.
Change the reso to say how you could, collective bargaining cannot be usurped inside of it. And then it passes muster with the lawyers. That's something we can work on. But the way it is set up right now, it would be a very bad thing for the union, because in the end, that would set a precedent, as I've told you before. You would have this precedent that says the New York City Council can overturn a collective bargaining agreement, which means they could do that at any time to anyone.
And that is absolutely false. Our legislation does not say you can overturn a collective bargaining agreement. Our legislation is for current retirees. And since current retirees are not in unions, then there is no issue. He intimated that if there was something in the legislation that would say that nothing in this bill would impair the unions from bargaining, then it wouldn't be a problem. Hey, newsflash, guys. Bing, bing, bing. That is the exact language that's in our state bill. And he still filed reports with the state that they went lobbying against our legislation with that exact terminology in there. Our bill does not impair any union's bargaining. It does not violate collective bargaining. It doesn't violate or touch the Taylor law. But do you know what it does do? It shuts our pockets from Michael Mulgrew. Because if our pockets stayed open, meaning that this bill doesn't pass, Michael Mulgrew can continue to go and increase and raise copays to fund the next union contract. His contract expires, I think, next year. DC 37's expires this fall. They want more money, and they're coming back after you. And this is why they don't want this bill passed, and they are spending tens of thousands of dollars lobbying against current retirees. They need money. They need a cash flow. And they're going to get it from somewhere. And unless a politician will stand up for New York City retirees and say, you shouldn't be taking pension dollars away from retired people to fund your raise. That's not how this works. Our state bill said that, and they literally destroyed our state bill. Him and AFL-CIO this year. So while at the same time lobbying for pension sweeteners for Tier 6, the UFT and AFL-CIO went to Albany and lobbied against our legislation with the same things that he said that he wouldn't have a problem with it being there. So he's talking out his ass. This, not acceptable. So this actually triggers a whole new war. And I am proud to take that one up. Let me let you finish it while I go back to find that video, because I can't listen to him and not get, I cannot call him out. I have to keep stopping and calling out his bullshit.
We might get what we want right now, but that doesn't mean 2 years from now, we don't have someone saying, guess what? You have no health care. Or, you know what? You're getting a 3.5% raise in September. Now we're going to overturn that. So you have to protect both. You have to protect the collective bargaining process that the Taylor law of New York State affords us. You have to do that first. Once you do that, then politicians cannot turn and flip it on us. So I know you keep saying that, and I'm sorry. I've had the lawyers sit in front of you and everything else. I just don't agree with you, and I'm sorry. I'm going to take the lawyers over you. No. Listen,
I told Mike that was his last.
and this is where I'm going to say. So this is the end for me. I get it.
Oops. I think I just lost it. Did it? Oh. I think that was the end. Was that the end? That might have been the end. Okay. I think I also have the screen I want to share with you on the Klinger video. Yep, here we go. Listen to this one. Let me pull it in.
It can't by itself determine what happens for actives, but what it'll do is put enormous financial pressure on what the city says to us it's willing to pay for actives if they have to pay so much more for retirees. That's how we interpret it.
The Mill C lawyer says retiree legislation is not illegal, but if the city has to pay for retirees, it will pay actives less. Think about that for a moment.
It can't by itself.
So think about that for a moment. What does that tell you? And this is going back to the Barron bill. The bill's not illegal, but what it would do is if the city had to pay for those damn retirees, it's less that it would pay for an active worker. That's how we interpret it. Union leadership. The reason we have unions is that because unions were supposed to protect workers, protect their benefits, increase their benefits, protect them from management overreach, from abuse, from harmful workplaces, to make sure that you had a safe working environment, that you could make a livable wage. And with the power of collective action within the union and, of course, with other unions, improve upon those benefits and pensions and healthcare and workplace. Not tear apart your retirees once they're gone. That is antithetical to the entire union movement. And this is why I keep having to shame UFT, DC 37, AFL-CIO, and AFME. Now, let me ask you, there's 150-something unions in the city of New York, and yet you only hear from these two city unions. Why? Because basically the rest of the unions have Stockholm syndrome, and they've all been abused by the rest of these two knuckleheads, saying that this is the only way that we could do this. No, it's not. And yet it takes a bunch of retirees to keep calling them out on the carpet. So we're at this for about a half an hour. If there's any questions that you have, I want you to understand this is not acceptable. This is not normal, and we will not tolerate this. And there's got to be a way, and we will find that way. Trust me, because I don't like being screwed. And I know you guys don't either. That this union leader can literally stand up on his self-proclaimed perch and tell his retirees, I'm not going to defend you, because if I do, the city is going to give my active union dues paying members a lower raise. Sorry, toots. That's not how this works. So I want you to know we just disagree with this. And this is the second time in a week he's now saying this, that your raises, the UFT active worker raises, are funded on the backs of retiree copays. And we will not tolerate that. So hang in there, because we're in for this. This is another reason why we keep telling you, stop paying UFT COPE. I can't say it any louder. I mean, I could skywrite it. I could scream it. If you want, I'll skywrite it. But stop paying UFT COPE. Enough. They are using your money and lobbying against you. I showed you their own state filings in the state and the city. I am telling you, stop. Fund our COPE. We need the support in order to get this legislation passed introduced and over the finish line. Fund this organization. Donate to this organization. Right above my head, you'll see right there. See it? There it goes. Whoop, 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 whoop. Fund us and do it monthly, because we can't keep fighting bullshit like this without having donations coming in. This organization is going to continue to fight for retirees because apparently in 2026, like it was in 2021, it is still hunting season on retirees. Since their contracts are coming due, they're needing more cash. And since the city seems to be short on green stuff lately these days, then they have to find a way to fund their raises. And if it means stealing from you, clearly Michael Mulgrew, when Susan Epstein says, well, you're kind of dividing us, you're pitting active workers against us, you're keeping the copays going because they're funding your contracts. And he's going, yeah, when people tell you who they are, listen, because this isn't a secret. He's telling you exactly who he is. Yes, Ellen, I am aware that the city wants to rebid out the Medigap plan. We are hearing that from several different unions. So this is, again, why we need to stay extremely vigilant on this. I know there were a couple other clips in this audio. I don't know if I'll get to them this week, but I will definitely try. But this was the most important because it's the second time he's bullshitting everyone. I can't roll those copays back. They fund my active worker raises. Seriously, that's how you negotiated? And so you understand, like, he's now owning this. We did this. Yeah, we did this. Because he's seen all along, we keep putting up these images of documents that the unions were negotiating to add more copays, more on doctor visits, more on hospitals, increase inpatient, increase lab work, increase this, to now to where a point where a current retiree on Medicare will go to a doctor and didn't have any expenses past the deductible. Now you're paying $50, $65 every time you go to the doctor in order to do that. So let's see, Janet says, so to stop COPE, I have to call the UFT or TRS. So hold on, Janet. I'm going to give you a link that you can use in order to stop it. So there are two different types that I'm familiar with of a political action money. If you are like UFT, which I'm thinking you're UFT, yes, call UFT. So here's the instructions. Whoops. Here's the instructions I'm dropping in the chat right now that tells you how to cancel your COPE. Okay. You need to, it takes about 2 pay periods. You need to write a letter or email to the UFT. The instructions are on that link right there. So that's how you follow your instructions. And truth be told, I did a video a week ago. I was listening to WNYC, and there was an old interview with Randy Weingarten saying that if you disagree with how the union is using your COPE money, you have every right to cancel it. Guess what, my friends, my brothers and sisters? Let me tell you, cancel your damn COPE to the UFT because they are not on your side. He wants to say, we're all the UFT. Well, if you notice something, and I noticed this yesterday, when he's in the RTC meeting, he doesn't know how to talk to any of you. He only can talk to you about active worker issues. He doesn't speak to you about any retiree issue facing you today. And then he had the gall to thank you for supporting Tier 6 while he was up in Albany at the exact same time lobbying against your legislation that protects you. So he thanked you for helping active workers, but didn't acknowledge that he lobbied against your legislation that would have protected your healthcare and your pension dollars from going out of your pocket. I mean, come on, guys. I'm just going to keep calling it like it is. There's no other way. Matthew, is Randy co-owning this as well? She's been silent. So let's talk about Randy. Randy said to me in a conversation that she is in a hard spot because in the AFT, she represents like 3,000 unions all around the country. And those other unions don't have insurance or benefits or pensions like we do. So She felt I should have understood her. If she was silent, that meant that she didn't support it because she didn't come out advocating for it. However, the reason why she felt conflicted is because if she said Medicare Advantage is a horrible plan and we shouldn't be forcing people into it, then all of the other more rural unions that have Medicare Advantage because they don't have anything else would be like, wait, you're giving me shit and you're fighting for the New York City union retirees to not be forced into shit, but you're giving me shit? Why aren't you working to help me get a better health plan? Like, she doesn't want to address that. So for her, it was easier to stay silent. That blew my mind, because if you're a union leader, you should be fighting for all of your members all across the country to have the best damn insurance plan ever. Not that you stay silent in New York when your members are getting screwed over by your protege, and you don't want to say anything because the more rural unions out west who don't have insurance and only have Medicare Advantage are going, wait, she's calling that shit and that's what we got. And she's not doing anything to help us. Like, seriously? Like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. That's not union, girl. You want to lift yourself up as you are worthy to be the next Secretary of Education in the United States and that you are this big union champion. But then you were silent on the most major issue addressing a retiree in a freaking century. And you stayed quiet. And then you allowed workers around the country to be forced into Medicare Advantage plans. And she proclaims herself, I don't know, to be one of the scariest, most powerful Democratic union leaders in the country, while watching people being forced into the default plan of Project 2025. Like, I can't make this shit up. Someone needs to do a movie on this, because this is the most effed up thing I have ever seen. Union leaders proclaiming to be these big scary union leaders, and watching retirees getting screwed over in retirement after pledging loyalty for decades to their union. I mean, it defies logic. That's not union. It violates every tenet of the union movement, of the labor movement. This is not normal. It's insane. Any chance you can do the infamous truck parked outside? Well, I mean, Matt, send me an email with some bullet points that you want me to put on that truck, and I'll see if the board supports it. So, let you know. Done a long time ago. So I'm glad if you canceled your COPE, but I'm asking you, donate to ours. I'm literally putting you a link in the chat, and I'm doing it again, that tells you how to cancel your COPE if you haven't, and how to donate to our political action fund so that we can get this bill introduced and passed. You can't just do one. You got to do both. I attended the virtual meeting yesterday. It was a bad, obnoxious behavior from Bennett as well as Mulgrew. Arthur Goldstein was also trying to be heard, and he was shut down quickly. So what I want to say to this comment, thank you for saying that. You will have seen that I put up a link yesterday, and let me grab that really quick if I can. That there's a new website out there. I can quickly find it. Here we go. That says Fix Retiree Benefits. Now, if most of you on this chat right here are UFT, this pertains to you. I want you guys to sign up on this page and go and to this meeting and learn what it's about, because it's a group of UFT retirees who you are going to know and love, that want to fight a movement in the next, I guess, retired teacher chapter election, and fight for retiree benefits so that the stuff that you heard yesterday doesn't happen. And so let me see if I can share that page so you see what I'm looking at. So when you do click it, it doesn't make you nervous. And you know that you're on the right page. Let's click here. Okay, Fix Retiree Benefits, UFT. Okay. So they're having a town hall on June 28th at 7 p.m. There's also a Take Our Member First survey. When you see this, these are going to be people that you're going to want to get to know very, very well. And many of you know most of them already. So get on this website if you're UFT, click that link and go to that meeting. I think you guys will be really happy with the strategy that they're implementing to try to protect retiree healthcare. Okay, great. I saw that one. I never like wanted to think. Thanks on it. You're welcome. Thank you, and you're welcome. Always fears city will take away IRMA repayment, which would screw many of us who have modest pensions, but we get pushed into IRMA when we take mandatory distribution. So for people that don't understand what this means, what happens to many of our retirees is that they may have a retirement investment vehicle like a TDA, a deferred comp, a IRA, a mutual fund. They have an investment account. And so for people who have those, when you become at a certain age, you are required to take what they call RMD, required mandatory distributions. And so you are required to take that money out. And so by doing so, it becomes taxable income. And what does that do? Knocks you into the next tax bracket. This also happens to seniors who maybe sell a home or whose spouse dies and that they inherit other money or a relative passes, right? So when that happens, you not only then have your RMD to take, you have the spouse's because you're putting that into your account. So when all of this happens, it jacks you into the next tax bracket, and now you're paying taxes you did not account for. And you have to pay taxes to the state and the federal government. So the IRMA reimbursement helps retirees in that situation to deal with that. And that's how they're able to help pay some of that. This is a major problem because for elderly people who, let's say, are downsizing and leaving their homes, what happens is once you sell that house, it'll jack you into an IRMA payment. And that can be really scary for some people and financially crippling because the Medicare will look back like 2 years. It is, I should probably do a video on that as well and have someone come and talk to us about it because it is one thing that concerns so many people. Randy was useless as our district rep going back years. She's still useless, but now she lies and only keeps her job because she makes several $100,000s a year. She could care less about the retirees or those in service. And you know, Cheryl, she disappointed me because after spending an hour on the phone with her where she commended me for all of the work that I did and the advocacy and she agrees and supports me, after that call, I was like, I'm never going to hear from her again. And sure enough, she came up with one excuse after another saying, I made videos, horrible videos against Michael Mulgrew. I said, no, I've actually been silent on Michael Mulgrew for weeks. And my only videos have been to target the mayor to communicate with retirees. I've not had the words Michael Mulgrew move past my lips from I think the middle of March or end of March. And she and I spoke the end of April up until she came back to me with this excuse. And then I read you her text messages. I'm like, I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm the one being transparent about this. You want to tell me you want to work with me on a local and national level, and then you walk it back because allegedly Michael Mulgrew's circle feels I hurt his feelings. Well, guess what, Toots? He tried to kill us. And that to me, you're not going to accuse me of my reaction to your actions of what was done to us. I'm going to call out those actions, and I don't care if you don't like my response. And that's what we're going to keep saying. So that's got to be told, unfortunately, because they want to cover it up and just say, she's mean to me. No, I'm not mean to you. I'm calling you out, highlighting with major spotlights on exactly what you did. You tried to steal from retirees, and so far you've been successful at doing that. And you tried to force retirees into Medicare Advantage. And then you had to walk back with your tail between your legs when we got strong enough to help your own chapters unseat your incumbents who were controlling your messaging. We're not going to take that anymore. And if that means that our retirees have to take a larger stand and be a little bit more militant in our responses, and I don't mean violence, we never condone violence, but we need to be a little more forceful, a little more aggressive in what we're doing, I'm okay with that. So let's do it. What's the status regarding the reintroduction of 1096? The lawyers of the city council are saying it's illegal. So yes, Gerald, we are working with that because, again, the speaker's office has not gotten back to us on this yet. Our government liaison is working on it. We should hopefully hear from them maybe next week. I have a meeting, I think tomorrow. I'm not sure. But as I said to you, I can't give you an update if I'm not getting one, but we are working on this. So don't think we're not. The one thing you should know about me is I'm not sitting on the sofa, eating bonbons and being fanned by, scantily clad men. I'm like breaking my ass, literally trying to get these answers for you. And so far, like, the city's just not committing to any of this. But that doesn't mean we're not stopping. And that doesn't mean that we're not deploying strategies. And I don't always have the ability to say things here because then, of course, I'm giving up what we're doing, which would impair our fight. So you've got to keep that faith in what I'm saying to you. I'm not hiding from you. I'm here every week, sometimes twice a week. Who you should be thinking that's hiding from you is the leaders that won't take everyone's questions, stay on these calls or stay on any caller meeting for every single call that they're on. Like the UFT leadership, that guy that we just did the video with, he will block people from speaking. He will pick on who he wants to talk to or who to ask questions. He doesn't answer every single question in the room. I don't stop these Zooms until every single question is answered in the chat that I've seen. And if you miss one, you guys usually email the organization anyway, and I answer it. Where do we find our member number? I still remember my file number. So your UFT member number, you should have it on like your ID card, I think. It's our TR. I don't know. Can someone answer that question? That's UFT. Is it our TRS number? What is your member number? I got no idea. Does it even say on that thing? Did it say you needed? Let me go back to that. Did it say? Nope, wrong link. Hold on. UFT, email or fax a letter stating you would like to. Oh, yeah, you need your member ID number or file number and most recent. Well, what you might want to do is email Ms. Yasmin Cologne, ycologne@uft.org. I don't see a phone number for Yasmin, but you can call unless someone else here tells you. Not sure, but you can use the file number in lieu of your. Yeah, it does say file number or member number. Where do we find the file number? Where do we find our member number? Let me see. No idea. But if you call the union's welfare fund or whatever this number is, this is another number that we have. You can find out what your number is, hopefully, by calling the UFT. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. Any other questions? Did I miss anything? This is an old question I starred as it was flying through. The Cassar one. Blessings, my sister. I'm Robert Cassar, former president, CWA Local 1182. I am ashamed of how these unions are acting toward those retirees. Yes, sweetheart, trust me. I am too. You're welcome, June, and good luck. Hopefully that works for you. If it doesn't, email us at the org email, and we will try to guide you further. But I do believe, Diane is saying UFT ID on UFT card, not your pension or file number. Sometimes your social security number gets you where you need to go. Okay, Diane, thank you for suggesting that. But at least you have a phone number as well. You can call the UFT or the UFT Welfare Fund and ask them to help you with that information if that doesn't work. And it's supposed to take 2 pay periods. And if you are having an issue where you're not getting those answers you're not getting a response and it's not stopping in 2 pay periods, email us at our website and we would be glad to help intervene. You can't call yourself a union when you're standing by allowing retired unionists to be robbed by you. So we're going to make sure that your pension dollars are literally working for you the way that they're supposed to. You shouldn't be financing your own litigation, financing your own protection, and then giving your pension monies to finance raises for a union you're no longer in. I mean, if Michael Mulgrew is charging copays and they're coming out of my pocket to finance his contract, I'd be pretty pissed, and I am. And so that's going to take us to the next chapter, which hopefully we can roll that proposal out soon. Because we're always coming up with really great ideas. It's just a matter of getting them implemented. So that's all I got, guys. Oh, there's Dan. Marianne, you should be getting a check from the Long Island Shield's Mike Villa for your legal fund to help our fight from a raffle that the Shields ran for the last few months with proceeds going to your organization. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you. And give Mike a hug for me, please, and tell him thank you. I appreciate what you guys do. So let's see. I think your member numbers, yes, on your, like when you get your eyeglasses. Thank you, Renee. So you guys, that's the story for today. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Unless there's something else that pops up, you will not hear from me. If something does pop up, we will just jump on and we will try to post to give you a little warning that we're coming on, if at all possible. But you're not going to hear back from me until probably sometime next week. And then whenever we do, like you'll know me on Monday, we'll do our radio show on Monday night. And if we have more news, we will just pop in and tell you. And I'm trying to give you notice because I know everyone has appointments or places to go and things to do. The problem is I can't always do that, as you're seeing, because things happen, life happens, parades happen, failure to respect us happens, and then people don't get back to you. And so when I can't plan in advance when people are not committed to doing what they're supposed to do and follow up. So you'll hear from me on that issue when we have something to share with you. 12,000 a person. I don't know what that is. What is 12,000 a person for the last 5 years? I don't know what that means, Matt. Thank you, Anne. You're the best too. Okay, so when you have a moment, can you create something that shows how much everyone has avoided? Yes, I can do that for you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Well, what I want to say is it's probably on average of $50-55 million a year from 2022 forward, right? Until 2025. So if you look at that, let's just take an average. I'm going to whip out my calculator here because I'm not going to do this math in my head. $50 million from 22, 23, 24 times 3 years. That's like 122, 23, 24. That's $150 million. We saved $150 million. And if we used the city's numbers of 250,000 people, that's a lot of money still. If I'm doing this math right, $150 million. Yeah, divided by 250. That's like, well, that shows me like $600, but not everybody pays $600 in copays. There are people that pay thousands of copays. I mean, we've got people in medical debt like crazy. I don't know if I could do it that way. I can probably give you a total amount. On average, would have been about $150 million for the 3 years. But I'm going to be honest with you, there's a lot less retirees than 250,000. It's like, I'll have to go back and look at the latest headcount report. But back when we were fighting this, we had issues where retirees, the numbers of retirees were, I think, probably about a down from $186,000. So that's about it. Todd, I can't really tell you if I like the mayor of New York because the mayor has ignored every single one of our requests to meet with us. And we have been asking since he was a candidate. And for one of the largest retiree groups at this point, because right now, even in our email database, we have over 150,000 emails on our email list. We're the largest single organization in the city of New York, and he is still ignoring us. So I can't tell you if I like the mayor in New York because he's not affording us the opportunity to get to know him or speak with him. But if you do know him, you might want to ask him, why aren't you speaking with the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees? Marianne's been asking you since January 30th of 2025. Maybe he lets you know, you can let me know. But we've been asking him, filing requests, going to City Hall, going to his office across the street, sending emails. The retirees all here have been emailing and calling 311 and still ignored. So that tells you enough that there's a reason why he's ignoring, is because there's a larger interest that's probably funding his campaign and his initiatives that he doesn't want interfered. Folks need to donate something, not necessarily thousands of dollars. Yeah, I hear you. All right, so it's 1 o'clock. I'm with you for, I guess, just about an hour. I want you guys to go enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm glad to have been able to come and talk to you. Sorry I don't have more, but the one thing that you did want was you wanted me to talk about yesterday. All of you should give a hats off to Susan Epstein for standing up and making that inquiry to Michael Mulgrew and how disrespectful she was treated, unfortunately, by the leadership. So sadly, to keep witnessing that it's just appalling. Have a great day, and I will see you next week unless something pops up, which it probably won't. And if you get out and you go to the parade tomorrow, enjoy yourselves. I hope you do. I'm hearing it's supposed to be pretty fun. And there's an app on the city website in order for you to go and watch and hear all that you wanted to. Also, thank your moderators because they've been doing a bang up job in helping answer all of your questions. So make sure you show some love to the moderators as well. I will speak to you next week. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by, baby, set in stone. But it's not too late now for you to change your tone.